What's going on, Kyle? We got a big MMA week this weekend with UFC 264. I'm sure we're going to have zillions and zillions of dollars out on this one.
Have to.
We're
going to risk 20% of our bankroll this week.
At least. God, monetary velocity. It's not making you money if it's just sitting there,
right.
Kyle.
No. This is a huge card. I've heard people on the internet, other handicappers, saying they don't love this card for bets. I initially thought the same thing. But after further review, there are spots to hit, and a lot of them. I did narrow it down though, and I took some risks on 2 plays that I'm very confident in.
Okay.
So you'll see those later. We can just start with the first fight. It's a Yazong Hu versus Alan Amedovski. This is going to take place at middleweight. It'll be Hu's first fight at middleweight. He's dropping down. I believe he started at heavyweight. He was severely undersized, moved down his last fight to 205, lost again. Now he's dropping again to 185. And this is 2 fighters that came into the UFC as prospects, and they're both 0-2 since reaching the UFC, so kind of busted prospects. So who was only 3-0 when he got in the UFC? You don't see it.
Right.
He's kind of a plodding fighter, will take punches to give punches. He has bad losses. Lost to Cyril Asker and Rashad Coulter. They're both just horrible. So that's why he's dropping weight. I don't know if it's going to help him. Amedovski was 8-0, all by finishes coming in. He does hit hard as shit. He lost to Krzysztof Jotko, made it to decision. Jotko's okay. And then he has...
Yeah, Jotko's pretty good.
Yeah, and then he has a horrible loss to John Phillips, who sucks, by KO. So...
Yeah.
I'm not betting this one. The line is Alan Amedovski's minus 143 and Hu's plus 115.
Yeah.
I think you got to stay away. Either one might be worth it on DraftKings because they'll probably get a finish. If I had to say anything, I'd say Alan Amedovski by KO because he does hit hard as shit and he should be the faster fighter even with Hu dropping down.
Yeah, and who knows who if he'll be, not really gain much speed and to just lose power.
Yeah.
From the weight cut.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a very common thing where he's just weight cuts too hard and he's just kind of slow and weak and sunken in.
Who didn't really hit hard to begin with. So
right.
I think Amedovski's going to win this one. I think it'll probably be by KO, but not worth a bet. It's so low level. This is like one of the lowest level fights we've seen in the UFC. Seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, it's bad.
It's really bad. Yep.
Moving on from the dumpster fire to a pretty good... I freaking love Zalis Zumagulov. And he is minus 345 fighting Jerome Rivera at plus 260. Zumagulov is 9,300 on DraftKings and 6,900 on Rivera is 6,900 on DraftKings. And so, Zumagulov had a couple of decent, not too bad losses against Rulan Paiva and Amir Albazi. Tough fighter, fought real tough in those losses. Puts out a lot of volume, and he's got recent wins over Ali Bogatinov and Tyson Nam. Tyson Nam's pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Ali Bogatinov and Tyson Nam are both big wins, way bigger than anything Jerome Rivera has ever seen. Yeah,
Rivera's also, he's got freaking long arms.
Yeah.
He has 6-inch reach advantage, 3-fight skid to Tyson Nam by KO, and let me see if I got the Francisco Figueiredo.
Francisco Figueiredo, the brother of of Figueiredo, the former champ.
Okay. We spelled this wrong in our notes. And what the fuck? And he got fucking starched by
Odie Osborne.
Cody Osborne.
Odie.
Yeah.
Odie Osborne.
Odie.
Yeah. Odie Osborne, it has fucking power though.
Yeah.
I like your take. I like Zumagulov to win this. -3.
Definitely, I already have him on DraftKings at 9,300. I think he definitely wins. And the -345 is not really worth it. We got to see what the prop lines are on that, or maybe throw him in a parlay.
Yeah, because Rivera, he's a submission fighter. Mainly all his wins are by submission, and there is no chance he takes down Zumagulov. Absolutely none.
Right.
Yeah. So next fight, it's a middleweight fight versus Amari Akhmedov and Brad Tavares. This is one of my favorite fights of the night for betting. Akhmedov is +142, 7,600 on DraftKings, and Tavares is -177 and 8,600 on DraftKings. I think Akhmedov is getting slept on. He subbed Tom Breeze in his last fight. He did lose to Chris Weidman by decision in a very close fight. That came down to Weidman getting a takedown in the last round, and they were both incredible wrestlers, so you can't count that against him. Before that fight, he was 5-0-1 with the tie against Marvin Vettori. He has wins over Abdul Razak Al Hassan, Tim Boach, Zach Cummings, and Ian Heinisch. All good wins. That was when Tim Boach was still good. Tavares, on the other hand, he's not going to finish Akhmedov. He has no power. Doesn't win by subs. He killed us last time with beating Shoeface, Antonio Carlos Jr. Because we thought that Jr. would get the takedowns, but Carlos Jr. we just basically found out that Antonio Carlos Jr. sucks. That's what I learned from that. Not that Tavares is good.
Yeah, we found out in real time.
Yeah. He got
right in front of our eyes.
He got KO'd by Edmund Shabazian, and he lost to Izzy by decision, which no love lost there. But every step up, Tavares loses. He lost to Tim Boach back in the day, which Akhmedov beat Tim Boach.
Right.
I think Amari Akhmedov, he's definitely the stronger guy. He's never not the stronger guy. I think he's going to be able to take down Tavares. Which we haven't seen many people do, but I think he'll do it.
Right.
He's going to throw the harder punches when they're on the feet. He may get touched up a bit on the feet, but he'll be throwing the harder punches which the judges like. I think he'll win rounds 1 and 2 easy, and Amari Akhmedov gasses out. But he doesn't get finished. When he gasses, he just gasses pretty hard. So I think he's got 2 rounds easy in the bag at a +142. He is a lock.
Like that very much. And then moving on to the women's flyweight fight, we've got Jessica Ai at +162 and 7,400 on DraftKings versus Jennifer Maia at -200 and 8,800 on DraftKings as well. And Jessica Ai has lost her last 2 to JoJo Calderwood and Cynthia Calvillo, and she has fought pretty much everyone in the women's flyweight division. Wins and losses against, or wins over Chikagian and Viviane Arujo. And then Maya lost her last fight to the champ, Shevchenko, and beat Calderwood by armbar and lost to Chikagian and beat good old Roxy Modafferi.
Yeah, this is a tough one.
This is a tough one. Gun to my head, I'm picking Maya. I think she's a better fighter.
Yeah, and Ai is, like you said, has fought just about everyone, and she's lost to just about everybody. She doesn't win.
Yeah.
She doesn't win. She doesn't win fights.
They keep putting her out there, though.
Yeah. Only way I could see Jennifer Maia losing is if Jessica Ai is somehow way stronger than her, which wouldn't be too big of a shock. Ai is pretty strong. Maia is undersized. That's enough to make me want to stay away and not take the minus 200.
Yeah, I agree. I like Maia, but minus 200 is a lot to weigh on women's MMA.
Yeah. Next fight.
When everyone is just an armbar away from...
There very well could be an armbar in that fight. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Maia by armbar. Let's get it. Next fight's a middleweight bout between Trevin Giles and Dricus du Plessis. This is an interesting one. When I first looked at it, I wasn't sure who I was going to pick because we have actually won some money on Giles in the past. He's on a 3-fight winning streak. He beat James Krause, Coach James Krause.
Right.
He should have lost that fight probably. I think we were actually on Giles, so I'm happy about it. We were all over Giles in the Bevan Lewis fight. Bevan Lewis is just completely overrated, kind of irrelevant. And then the Roman Dolidze fight, I can't remember which side we were on. We might have faded it. But he won that in a very close fight. Giles does have 2 losses by sub. And that's interesting going into this Dricus fight because Dricus wins by finish, no matter what. He's only ever won by finish.
Yeah.
So he only has 1 fight in the UFC so far. He knocked out Marcus Perez. Never been to decision, even in his losses. He has great chokes, and he's just real aggressive. He's going to walk down Giles the whole time. And one more interesting thing about this fight is I think he's actually training full-time now, but as of like last year or the year before, Giles was still a police officer.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, it's like Stipe still being a firefighter.
Yeah, but Stipe's a fake firefighter. Sorry,
Right.
Stipe. But I'm pretty sure Stipe...
Coming from a real firefighter.
I'm pretty sure Stipe volunteers and doesn't work every day. Like, doesn't work a regular schedule.
Right.
If I'm wrong, I apologize, Stipe. You can come beat me up, I guess. But all over Dricus in this. I know we've bet Giles. I think Dricus is somebody to watch at middleweight. I think he's legit. He's fucking jacked too.
And the line is right at minus 118.
Exactly.
To load up on Dricus.
And the line is right on DraftKings too at 8,200.
Yes.
But yeah, great line.
Yeah. And then we got another lopsided featherweight fight here. We got Ryan Hall plus 195 and 7,100 on DraftKings versus Ilya Tuporia at minus 250.
This is a great fight.
Yeah. Ilya is 10-0, 2 decent wins in the UFC. He's got great wins over Zalal and the KO win over Damon Jackson. He's a freaking strong-ass puncher, good wrestler, and just overall not too many weak spots in Ilya here. And Hall hasn't fought in, looks like, 2 years.
Almost exactly.
Right, 2019.
Almost exactly.
Almost exactly. Yeah, July 2019. He beat Darren Elkins, and he's undefeated in the UFC with wins over Elkins. BJ Penn by sub, which is pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
And then Gray Maynard and Artem Iobov.
Yeah, Connor's boy. He's he's friends with Conor McGregor. He sucks.
Yeah.
But this is an interesting one.
This is. Got to go with Tuporia, though.
At this line, I think the value's on Ryan Hall. But gun to head, who wins? I got to say Tuporia based off strength alone. I know Ryan Hall, basically all he fights for is that martial arts can beat strength. And he's proven it. To his point, he's proven it. And I did not think he would beat Darren Elkins. And he actually beat Darren Elkins in a stand-up battle, which is crazy.
That is wild.
This is going to be a super interesting fight with Tuporia just being the stronger, younger guy. Ryan Hall is 36.
Yeah.
Ryan Hall, though, is one of the trickiest fighters in the UFC. That's why he has not had a fight. Nobody would fight him. Nobody would fight.
Everyone kept ducking
Ryan
him.
Hall. Yeah, nobody wants to fight him because he's a heel hook fighter. He'll fucking grab your ankles. He's basically any submission. Ryan Hall's got it. He's a wizard on the ground. And on the feet, he's trickier than you would think. He throws a lot of front kicks to keep you at range. And when he's not at range, if you get in his range, he flops to the floor. So the thing is Ilia Topuria going to follow Ryan Hall to the ground? Is he going to risk it? And if he does, can he survive?
You're changing my mind enough to add Ryan Hall to my DraftKings team.
I don't know because
if Ryan Hall wins, it's going to be by submission.
Maybe. The only thing that has me thinking he can win a decision is if Topuria does not follow him to the ground, Ryan Hall will not be able to take Topuria down. He doesn't have the strength to do it.
Right.
So Topuria will dictate where this fight goes.
And then pull the old Paul Craig fucking submission from any position you put him in.
Right. So it's an interesting fight. I'm staying away, betting wise. Can't do it. I would say the line has grown in the favor of Ryan Hall. He started out, I think, plus 160. It's now 195. So people are betting on Topuria, which I totally see.
Yeah.
It's just any Ryan Hall fight to me is exciting just because how he fights. He's the only one who fights like that. Next fight is a very entertaining fight with Nico Price versus Michel Pereira. Nico Price is plus 130, 7,300 on DraftKings, and Michel Pereira is minus 162, 8,900 on DraftKings. I think they have the lines wrong. I've seen a lot of love for Michel Pereira. I could definitely see Nico Price winning this one. And I get what they're saying with Pereira. He kind of showed in the Chaos Williams fight that he could tone it down and win a point fighting contest. But I also don't think that Pereira is that smart, and Nico Price hits really, really hard. So
yeah,
you were used to seeing Pereira also be like the way bigger guy in all his fights. He won't be here. Price is huge. And with Price beating Cowboy, I know it's Cowboy, but he still beat him. He had wars with Vicente Luque. He brutally KO'd James Vick in one of the best knockouts of all time. War with Jeff Neal. And he KO'd Tim Means. I mean, the guy is pretty impressive. Pereira with that weird flashy style, I could just see him doing a stupid jump knee and getting KO'd like the Fedor Emelianenko KO.
Right. Yeah. Definitely.
So I'm locking in Nico Price at plus 130. I think the line is really good.
Yeah. I like Nico Price in this. Definitely solid DraftKings pick at 7,300.
Oh yeah, and if you even look at that, the DraftKings pick is way different than the line. The line's way closer.
Right.
So
huge value. Next one up, we got old man Carlos Condit, 37-year-old Carlos Condit, fighting Max Griffin. Condit is the plus 150 dog, only 7,500 on DraftKings, and Griffin is minus 190 and 8,700 on DraftKings. Condit has fought a bunch of solid people, and his losses are only to the top of the division. He beat Matt Brown and Court McGee in his last two, and he lost to Chiesa Magni, Alex Oliveira, Robbie Lawler, and Damian Lyon.
And those two wins are proving to be better than when he won them. Like, Matt Brown looked great.
Matt Brown still got it.
He just looked great.
Matt Brown is still
Court
got
McGee
it.
just signed a 4-fight new deal with the UFC.
Yeah.
So Carlos Condit's last two are actually looking pretty good now.
Yes. And Max Griffin is talking all the shit in the world here. He does have a couple of good wins in his last two over Song Kenan and Ramirez Brahimaj, and he's definitely got punching power, and he showed it in his last couple of wins that we haven't seen in the past. And Max Griffin also lost to Alex Oliveira, and his bad losses were against Alex Morono and Curtis Millender.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yep.
That's pretty bad.
But he has improved since then, and he showed it in his last two. The shit talking is what has me leaning Condit here. I don't think that Max Griffin can beat Carlos Condit in a straight stand-up fight. That's what Condit's good at.
If we've seen anything these last couple of months is old man fighters, the resurgence of the over 35 crew.
Yeah.
They're fucking tearing it up. Andrei Arlovsky what is he, 43 now?
Yeah.
Just beat that kid who's like 26 on like 1 month's notice.
Oh, yeah.
And Matt Brown just got to win. Court McGee just got to win.
Yeah, and the shit talking by Max Griffin, he's saying he's going to steal all Condit's fans, all this shit. He's gonna knock him out. He's gonna finish him. I don't see him finishing Carlos Condit. It hasn't happened very often against even top competition. And I think if he gets into a stand-up fight, he might get out-slicked by Carlos Condit. Carlos Condit is one of the slickest strikers in the UFC. Max Griffin, his path to victory is using takedowns. Carlos Condit sucks at takedown defense. He's one of the all-time worst, stat-wise. And he gets complacent on the ground. Carlos Condit's one of those guys who's willing. He's like a Diaz brother. He'll strike from his back, which is frustrating for bettors. I think the value is on Carlos Condit at plus 150.
Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. And only 7,500, which again is not really reflective of the betting line.
Right. Exactly. It's closer.
Yeah.
Next fight, barely worth talking about. Sean O'Malley, I know he's a fan favorite, versus Chris Moutinho. Sean O'Malley is a minus 835 favorite. Moutinho plus 525. O'Malley most expensive on DraftKings at 9,500, and Moutinho, his name is not even on DraftKings yet, at 6,700. Sean O'Malley's going to win this fight. I do have a bet for this fight that we'll talk about later. It is not taking Sean O'Malley at 835, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, Sean O'Malley, 20 units on Sean O'Malley minus 835.
Right. But I do have a bet for that fight. I think there's not much to discuss breakdown-wise.
Right. It's how quick is it, or how long is it going to take Sean O'Malley to beat fucking Chris Moutinho?
Exactly.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
All right. Next we got the women's bantamweight. I think these are probably 2 out of the 3 fucking women in the bantamweight division. Irene Aldana versus Yana Kanitsaya, and this is almost a pick'em. Aldana is minus 120 and 8,300 on DraftKings, and Kanitsaya is minus 105 and 7,900. Aldana's got some good losses to Holly Holm. And she does well against the lower tier fighters, but her step-ups have not gone well for her. She loses pretty much every time she gets a step-up in competition. She's super athletic, whereas Yana is married to Thiago Santos, and she won her last 2. Big, powerful broad, bullies those bitches around, and constantly moves forward. Has got okay, pretty good takedowns, but is also content against just pushing up fighters against the cage and giving them knees to the hamstrings and just smacking them from behind. And she just lost to another super athletic girl in Aspen Ladd.
Yeah, that loss does scare me a little bit with this Aldana fight, this Aldana matchup. But Aldana doesn't have the KO power that Aspen Ladd had.
Aspen Ladd is beefy.
She is. Yeah, what do you think on this? It's another women's MMA fight. It is high level, but...
Yeah, I think this is probably stay away. But I could see Knizia getting a decision where just from the sheer pressure and constantly moving forward, and I think she just probably has more volume and is the aggressor, which I don't think cage control is as big judging criteria as it used to be, but it's still something.
Yeah. And I think she will have the takedown advantage too. I agree. I think Yana by decision, and whatever that prop might be worth something, but I'll probably stay away from that as well. I don't have it locked in as right now.
Right.
Next fight is one of my favorites, heavyweight fight, Tai Tuivasa versus Greg Hardy. Tuivasa is -142 favorite with Greg Hardy -115, and money is pouring in on Greg Hardy. Tuivasa is 8,400 on DraftKings, and Greg Hardy is 7,800 on DraftKings. The DraftKings pricing, they got it right for this one. Reflective of the line. And this is where I got into a little battle on Twitter. Everyone seems to be taking Greg Hardy, and I don't know why. After his last fight, it was Marcin Tybura. I know Marcin Tybura is good, but Hardy gave up. He gave up in that fight. He has no good wins. His best win was over Yorgan De Castro, which he was losing that fight, and the only reason he won was because Yorgan De Castro hurt himself kicking Greg Hardy.
Yeah.
People are stuck on that performance he had against Volkov, where he went to decision on 2 weeks' notice against Volkov. But guess what? Volkov was taking that fight, I don't want to say easy, but he was playing it safe.
Right.
He won very clearly. He did not get himself in trouble against a very big man in Greg Hardy.
Right. And Greg Hardy's got some serious knockout.
Right, and Volkov's a smart fighter. A win's a win. He knew he didn't need to expose himself to somebody like Greg Hardy. Whereas Tuivasa, he is on a 2-fight win streak, both by KO. Yes, they're against Henry Hunsucker and Stefan Struve, but are kind of irrelevant. Tuivasa, after he lost to Spivak, because he got dominated on the ground by Spivak, who... The loss to Spivak's looking better, too, because Spivak's a great fighter. So he was our lock 2 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah. Spivak fucking...
Yeah,
saved us.
So Tui, after the loss to Spivak, approached Daniel Cormier and said, "Can I train with you at AKA?" And this is kind of interesting, actually. So Daniel Cormier said to him, "You can, but I heard you have beef with someone else who trains at AKA." And it was I think he was a Russian fighter, not really big name, but Tui and him got into it over, he was a cornerman for one of Tui's other opponents, and they got into it. I think it actually had to do with Mark Hunt, something about Mark Hunt. So Daniel Cormier scheduled a non-sanctioned fight between Tui and that man to squash the beef. And the other unnamed fighter did not show up and moved and switched gyms. So Tui has been training at AKA with Daniel Cormier, training wrestling. We already know Tui has those huge leg kicks, which Hardy is going to get fucked up by. Greg Hardy is one of the most awkward fighters because he's not a true fighter. He's an NFL guy.
Right.
that got his name off beating women. That's why he's not in the NFL. Fun fact. That's why he's decided to do this over playing the NFL. He didn't choose this. He wanted to play football.
Right.
But Tui's going to fuck him up with those leg kicks. He might even get a takedown. And he's going to TKO Greg Hardy.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. Yeah. So lock that one up.
Saturday's not going to be a good day to be Greg Hardy's lower and middle leg.
Yeah, those kicks are too hard. Want to take us to our co-main?
Co-main. We got a welterweight match against with Gilbert Burns at plus 126, 7,700 on DraftKings versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, minus 157 and 8,500. Gilbert Burns got freaking dominated by Kamaru Usman, but before that he was on a bit of a tear, but it was not against the highest level of competition. He beat Woodley as one of his 4-fight losing. What do you have, a 4-fight losing streak?
Yeah, he beat the boxer Tyron Woodley, boxer rapper who's going to go fight Jake Paul. That's who he beat.
He beat Woodley after he essentially quit.
Yeah.
And then Woodley quit, and then he fought 4 more times and lost all of them. He lost to Damian Maia, who is very old.
He beat Damian Maia. He beat all these guys. Yeah.
So yeah. Beat Damian Maia and fucking bougie Gunnar Nelson.
Yeah.
And he's got good striking, and he uses striking to win all those fights. And Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, he started out as like a karate guy, correct?
Yeah, he still has that karate style.
Still karate.
Yep.
Yeah, and
he started fighting at 3 years old, trained by his dad. His dad is still his head trainer.
Yeah, and he freaking outclassed Jeff Neal and Vicente Luque, who are both power guys, and Burns pretty much all he has is punching power. And then he got caught in a weird loss to Anthony Pettis, and then he lost to Darren Till in a not very entertaining fight, and then beat Jorge Masvidal, who we are not high on, but a win's a win. And then he beat Rory McDonald and Johnny Hendricks, and fought a prime, pre-quitting Tyron Woodley to a draw, and he arguably another draw.
Yeah. This is one of my locks of the night. Stephen Thompson. I don't know why the line is even close. Yeah. Minus 157 is a steal on this fight. Burns' only path to victory is to get a takedown. And the only person I think there might be one other fighter. I'm pretty sure the only person to take down Stephen Thompson is Tyron Woodley, who is a much, much better wrestler than Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns is a jiu-jitsu guy.
Right.
And Woodley only took him down once in each fight. So taking down Stephen Thompson is not easy to do, especially with that footwork. What Burns' game plan is going to be, and what he's been doing as of late, is not wrestling and not using his jiu-jitsu. What got him here is he's turned into a power striker, and he's going to fire out of the gate because he's fucking huge. He's like a meatball.
He's on the Vitor Belfort supplement.
Yeah, he is. He's going to fire out of the gate, and he's going to try to knock Stephen Thompson out. What's going to happen is he's going to overextend, and Stephen Thompson's going to knock Gilbert Burns out. It's almost guaranteed.
Judo
chop.
It's
going to be a straight right, or it's going to be a head kick. Stephen Thompson is too smart. Watching him fight Jeff Neal sold it for me. Because Jeff Neal is a fucking beast.
Jeff Neal is a monster.
And that fight was not close. It didn't even look like they should be in the same ring.
Right.
I think people forget that Stephen Thompson, I might get this wrong, but I think he was something like 57-0 as a kickboxer. So
I think you're right, because I remember watching his. He did an interview probably a couple months ago on the JRE, and they were talking about his kickboxing career. And he's savage.
Yeah, so I think Burns, he's got to go for the takedown. He'll probably know that. He's smart too. I don't think he'll be able to get it, and if he gets it, I don't think he'll be able to keep him there. Because when it comes down to it, Burns is a submission guy. Not everyone could be a Damian Maia who learns how to wrestle and to control guys like a wrestler.
Right.
Stephen Thompson has the knack of getting up. He's proved it against Tyron Woodley, who, like I said, much better wrestler than Gilbert Burns. I think that's an easy pick. The only thing that scares me is everyone is on Stephen Thompson. So we were against everyone in our other picks. We're with everyone in this one. So but hey, that might be right. The popular pick's got to be right 1 out of the 3 times.
Right.
And that brings us to the main event. A lightweight fight against Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier, and basically a pick'em.
Right.
Third fight, they're 1-1 against each other. Conor's -103 and 8,100 on DraftKings. Dustin is -125 and also 8,100 on DraftKings. We all saw the last fight, those calf kicks of Dustin and the gassing out of Conor contributed to the demise of Conor once again. Conor has been losing consistently for a long time now.
Yeah, we were never very high on him.
No, I always missed that Jose Aldo rematch. It never happened. It should have freaking happened. But Conor kind of skated through that. Has fought who he wants to fight, and when he ran into Khabib, he had some issues.
We'll call them issues.
Yeah, he was a much better fighter at 145, is what it is.
Right. Right.
And Dustin has bulked up and now looks great at 155. The only thing, we talked about this when Masvidal fights. The confidence, it gets to you. Yeah. It makes you be like, oh, Conor can win. He's going to knock him out.
Yeah, I mean, if you listen to the number of times that he says he's going to win, then you start to believe it.
Right. So, the smart pick's Dustin. Don't want to be a little pansy and not bet the main event, but as of now, I don't have a bet on the main event.
Yeah, I have Poirier in my DraftKings lineup.
Yeah, you got to have one of them in your DraftKings lineup. You have to.
Yeah.
Absolutely have to.
Yeah, you have to.
They will both be high-owned. Probably 50-50.
That's all right. Yeah, probably.
Yep. You want to get into some bets here?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, let's hit it.
So I went and did some deep dive, and I feel like I found some good bets here. We'll start with our straight bets. Those are money line bets. Omari Akhmedov, he's plus 142. I love Omari Akhmedov in this spot.
Yeah.
Risk 2 units to win 2.84 units on Omari.
Love it.
Dricus Duplessis, he's -118. Bet 1.18 to win 1 unit on Dricus. Stephen Thompson, Wonder Boy. And this is my hammer of the night. 7.85 units to win 5 units on Wonder Boy. I don't see him losing. You have to hammer it when you see those. And then Nico Price, plus 130, 1 unit to win 1.3. That's a risk of 13 units on straight bets. So then, parlays. We have Tui round 1 with parlayed with O'Malley round 1. That gets you plus 895. If you bet 0.5 units, that'll win you 4.47. That's what we're going to be going with. Then if we go with another parlay, which I only have 2, Stephen Thompson, Nico Price, and Omari Akhmedov, all parlayed together, gets you plus 830. Another half unit bet to win 4.15 units on that one. And then I have 3 props for us this week. Ooh. I like Nico Price, and I like him by decision, which not a lot of people will see coming. I got 0.5 units on that to win 2.25 units. It's plus 450. Tuivasa, again, and this is by TKO. That's plus 160. It's 1 unit to win 1.6 units. And then here's our Sean O'Malley hammer bet. Sean O'Malley round 1 is somehow plus 130. I really don't see any other option. It's 5 unit bet, round 1. He didn't come through on his last round 1 prop. I'll let you know that. That only makes me want it more. 5 units to win 6.5 units on Sean O'Malley. That's risking 20 units for the night. So 20% of your bankroll. But we will win a lot. I'm confident in this card. I'm confident. Especially, I can't wait till Tui knocks the fuck out of Greg Hardy. I'll be tweeting my ass off. I cannot wait.
Man.
Is there any other thing you like on for bets? And then we'll move over to lineups for DraftKings.
No. No, I was just locking in a lineup right now.
All right. I was able to make 2 lineups as well.
Okay. You want to do yours first?
Sure. First lineup of the day. I left $600 on the table. I have Sean O'Malley at 95. I think he gets that win easy, round 1,
Easy
so
win.
that's going to be a lot of points. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson at 85. Like I said, that's my other lock, and I think he does get the finish. Gilbert Burns is going to overextend and get finished there. So love that. Tuivasa, I told you, he's going to get the finish. So going with all my picks, I'm not fading them anywhere.
Yeah.
So that's 8,400. Omari Akhmedov, 7,600. I think he could get some takedowns and some control time on the ground.
Yeah.
Dustin Poirier, I told you we have to have one of them. I think Poirier wins. And then rounded out with Nico Price at 7,300. That leaves 600 on the table for a nice solid lineup there.
I had a lineup at the start of this, and it has completely changed.
Oh, really?
Since I was just kind of messing around with different guys. So this is what I have currently. So I have Zumagulov at 9,300. I got Nico Price. He sold me on Nico Price on this one over Michelle Pereira. Omari Akhmedov, 76. And then Amidovsky at 9K. Derek Duplessis, or Drishis Duplessis at 82. And Wonderboy at 85. That's what I got.
I like it.
Yeah. And then so it started off with Zumagulov, Tai Tuivasa, Dustin Poirier, and then I think I had maybe Ryan Hall, and I think also Wonderboy Thompson.
It's not bad either, though.
I might just do one of each.
Yeah.
Screw it. It's a big weekend.
I did make one more, and I wanted one lineup where I faded Sean O'Malley. Not because I don't think he doesn't win, but because I think he'll be super popular, and there's a chance that if you fade him, you can come up with a lineup that gets more points. He probably will score top 5 points in this slate.
Right.
But with 9,500, you might not be able to get everybody else. So I wanted one lineup that fades him. So I start off with someone I'm not that confident in, but I think if he wins, he'll probably get a finish in Alan Amidovsky at 9,000. And then it's basically the same as before, except I added Drickus Duplessis. So I got Amidovsky, Stephen Thompson. I mean, I'm hammering these guys this week. When you're confident, you got to roll with it. We could lose a bunch, or we could win a bunch, but you have to go with what you think. Yep. That's why we do this. So Thompson, Tuivasa, Drickus Duplessis, Dustin Poirier, and Omari Akhmedov to round it out.
That one I really like a lot too.
I might change out Akhmedov on that one, not because I don't think he's going to win, but because he might not score quite as high, just because Tavares tends to play fights safe. So there's a chance I trade him out for someone like Nico Price or Ryan Hall, somebody like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's going to be a great night of fights. We'll have a bunch more content coming this week for both UFC and golf. Stay tuned.
Yeah, man. All right.
All right.
I'll talk to you later.
See you.